Hello and welcome to this presentation of Virtual Framer. I am Khaled Fekhi, founder and CEO of Virtual Framer. When you use Virtual Framer, you can upload the image of the artwork that you want to frame, and then here you can enter the size of the artwork. You can rename the artwork here if you wish. And then if you know the frame that you want to use for this artwork, you can just type in the number here. The app will give you different options with this number. You choose the option that you're interested in. This is the one I want. And then if you know the name of the framing method that you want to use, you can just start typing the name, select the framing method you want. And from here, you can scroll down and start to make some changes to get the visual you want. So here I'm going to decrease this part and increase this one. Now, if I want to add here a weighted bottom, I can click on this button here and then I can select the bottom part. Here, I will push this to 4 inches. Now I modified just the bottom part here. Now, if I click on select matte board, I'm going to be able to change the matte board. And then for the second matte board here, I want something darker. You can scroll down and then select the matte board, or you can type in the number here to get the matte board you want. Now, after you obtain the visual that you're looking for, you can scroll down a little more, and here you can start selecting all the materials that you want. So here I'm going to select Optim acrylic instead of my default regular glass. And then here I want to add some dry mounting, so on foam core, for example. And here I will add a strainer, all right? Now that I selected my materials and I selected the framing method, I basically have my visual and I have my price. With this visual, if I click on this button, I can save it. I can share it with my client very easily, or I can even put it on a wall. Here I can upload the image of the wall where the client is saying they want to hang this artwork, and then here I give an idea of scale. If I know this table is 25 inches, I can type in this number here. Now I get the scale, and then here if I want to modify the direction of the shadows, I can just change it here, and now I have a visual that I can share again very easily with my client. Now here for this amount, this is the total amount that includes the frame, the framing, everything. So if I click on this button here, I'm going to be able to see how much I'm charging for the frame, how much I'm charging for labor, and how much I'm charging for each one of the materials and each one of the services that I selected for this framing job. Now, any amount that I don't like, I can just modify here. So if I want to make the labor $75 instead of $58, I can do that very easily. And then if I want to understand how an amount was calculated, I click here on more info, and here I can see the full detailed calculation to understand how the price was calculated, and I can even make some changes here. Now, if I have my visual and I have the price that I'm happy with, I can save this project. Here, I'm going to select a client, so I type in here I start to type the client's name, and then I can enter any remarks or notes if I want to here. What you see here, this is the project number, and this here is the artwork name, and the 01 here is because this is the first iteration for this work, and we will continue with this presentation and save other iterations to see how that works. So I save here, and now I have this first iteration saved. And when I click here on this button, which is the dashboard, I can see here the project name, the iteration. This is my client's name. And if I click here on quote, and I select this iteration, I'm able to generate a quote. On this quote, I have all the numbers and all the details concerning this job. So I can make changes, I can add descriptions here, I can hide or show parts of the images and anything that I want to change basically. And then here in these numbers, I can add a line item if I want. I can click here to show the discount field, and I can add a discount if I want. And here for the total, I can change the total in any way I like. And when I'm happy with the result, I can save this. And this will save a document here under quote in front of the iteration. Just by looking at the document, I know exactly what it is. Now, if this is a confirmed job, I can click here, mark as confirmed. Now you see this little pin here that shows me that it's confirmed. And then I can now save an invoice. So these are the numbers that we entered in the quote. I can still make changes if I want. When I'm happy with this, I can save, and now I will have my invoice here. Now I can do also a proof of receipt. So the proof of receipt is a document that I can send to the client to say, this job will be ready in this date, and I can use this as a condition report. So if I want to mention that there is a crease on the artwork's edge, I can just show an image of where the crease is. I can also take an image of the crease. I can call this image anything I want. And then I can come here and describe what's in that image, all right? When I'm happy with what I have, I can save, and this will save me a document again under proof of receipt in front of this iteration. For the work order, same thing. I click here, select the iteration, and then here I have a first page where I can show the workshop what the client is expecting. Here I can enter remarks or instructions, general instructions about this job. And then here in the next page, I have a section for the frame where I can enter remarks and instructions. I have a section for the framing method, and I have a list of all the materials that I have to prepare for this job. And you can see here, for example, for this mat board, you have the reference, the color, the outside dimensions, the opening size, and the margins here. So when you save this here, you will have a document here under work order in front of this iteration. Now, from this dashboard, I can have access to all the quotes and all the invoices and all the proofs of the receipt and all the work orders that I have saved for this client, as well as all the projects. So if I click here on all projects, you can see here all the projects that I saved for this client before. So you can open any project and access that project. And then here, if I do a long press on quote, I can see all the quotes that I saved for this client. Same here with the invoice. I can have access to all the invoices that I have saved for this client. So that means if you need to open an old invoice or an old quote to see what you did for a client before you generate a new quote, you can easily do it here, and you have access to all the information from one place. Now, let's generate more iterations here. So we want to show our client more options. So we're going to unconfirm this one because now we want to work on more options. And we will click here on the project to get back here and make some changes. So if you want to try with another frame and you have the number, you can just type in the number here and choose that frame. But if you don't know exactly what frame you want to use and you want to browse frames on Virtual Framer, you can click here on this button. So the buttons that you see here are, this one is for the artwork, this one is for the frame, this one is for the framing method, and this one is for the fillets. And this one is the dashboard. We already seen that. So if I click here on the frame button, you see here there are a number of frames and filters here. So the frames that you see here are all frames that you decided to show on your account. So when you start using Virtual Framer, nothing shows on this part of the screen. You have to select which vendors you work with or want to work with, and you select which frames you want to show on your account. So any frame that you see here is the result of you wanting that frame to be there. And from here, if you click on a frame, you, of course, change the frame. If you click on the frame again, you can open the presentation page for this frame. So you can see all the images and all the attributes for the frame. And you can use these filters to narrow down the selection here. So if I'm looking for a black and gold handmade frame that's 3 to 4 inch wide, for example, I can use these filters here. Click here on color, and then here I will select gold, and then I will click on the filter color again, and here I will select black. Now I click on size, and I select 3 to 4 inch wide, and then I click here on frame type, and here I will select closed corner. Now, when the app is done thinking here, what we will see on the left side is all 3 to 4 inch wide closed corner frames that are all black and gold. Now here I can click on this first frame. I can here very easily swipe when I'm just browsing this collection like this. Whenever I see a frame that I like, I can just click here on the little heart. And then if I like this frame, I can click here on the little heart. If I do this gesture here with pinching out, I can open bigger size images. And then here I can scroll down and like all the frames that I'm potentially interested in. So here we are, and then I can close this page. And when I click here on this heart here, I can see all the frames that I liked. Now, if I open the page for this frame and I swipe, I will swipe from one frame to the next within this selection of frames. So this is a great tool to discover frames if you don't know exactly how you want to frame something, or if in your workshop you want to let the clients play around with frames. This is something that you can do, and they can come up with frames that they like. Now, you can also select frames by vendor. So here I close all the tags that I selected, and now I'm going to click here on the supplier filter. Now, when I click here on the supplier filter, I see all the suppliers, all the vendors that I have on my account. What you see here is a very long list because I'm showing basically every supplier that I have on my account. But in your case, you will only have 5 or 6 or 10, the ones that you usually work with. So here I select this vendor, for example, and now all the frames that I see here are frames from this vendor alone, just this vendor. Now, if I click here on this frame and I open the presentation page for this frame, I see this button here, and this button means that if we want to see this frame in a different proportion, not just this width here, 1.5 inch, if I want to see it in a different width, I can click here on this button and I can change the width to any width I want. And now I can see here the proportions in this width. When I do this, I lose the price because the app only knows the price in the original width, which is 1.5 inch. But if I click here and I call the supplier and I get the price, I can just enter here the price that I got, and I will be able to continue with my quote. Now, if I reset here, basically I get the price back and I get the visual with the original 1.5 inch. Now, here I am able to stack frames if I want. So if I click here on this button again, I am going to select frame number 2. And when I click on another frame, basically I see here a second frame inside the first frame. Now, if I repeat this operation here, now frame number 3, I can click here and now I have a third frame. Now, if I want to reorganize these frames and put the gold one here in the middle, very simple. I just take it here with my finger and push it in the middle, and now I will place it where I want it to be. Now, if I close here, before I close, since it's highlighted here, if I click on another frame, I replace that frame with the frame that I clicked on. Now, if I don't want a third frame, I click here and I only have 2 frames now. Now, instead of stacking a regular frame inside, we will stack a floater. So here I will click on the floater filter, and then I will choose the type of floater that I'm interested in. And now if I click on a floater, I will change this inside frame into a floater. So here I have all the attributes for this floater, and I have here a little ruler. And with this ruler, I'm going to be able to see how much gap I want between. Now we have a mat board here, but if it was just the artwork, it would be the gap between the artwork and the frame. Now we can also stack liners. So I'm going to click here on the liners filter, and here I will choose the type of liner that I'm interested in. So I want to see fabric liners. And with fabric liners, if I select here a liner, you can see I stack basically a liner inside the frame. If I click here, I can see this is a regular molding basically. And then if I choose here a handmade liner, if I click here to open the presentation page for this liner, since it's a handmade liner and possibly I can modify it in some ways, you can modify the width here. So you can see how the width is changed according to what I enter here in the ruler. And if I want to change the fabric, I can change the fabric. So the options here will depend on the vendor and what they offer. And if instead of a fabric, and if the vendor says you can also paint a color, you can change the fabric to any color. Basically, you're going to ask this vendor or yourself to paint any color you want. Or if you want, you can pick the color from the painting. So if I click here on the woman's dress, this is the color of the spot where I clicked. And if I want to see how it looks with the color of the man's suit, then I click on a part of the painting and I get the color here. So basically, I could have this sample in my shop and show my client something that looks very different, but it's still based on this sample. Now, I'm going to remove this liner here, and I want to go back here to the framing method. I want to increase this part here, and now I'm going to show you how you can add fillets. So this button here is for the fillets. When you click here, you can click on any fillet. By default, it will come here inside the frame, but then with your finger, you take this little tag and you put it where you want. So here I put the fillet inside the smallest opening of the mat board. You can also do multiple fillets. So when I click here, you have a second fillet. When I click on a second fillet, I can take here this fillet and put it inside also. If you don't want this, you just close, and now you have your visual. So I'm going to save this now. And as you can see, this is my second iteration for this artwork. Still the same client, still the same project. And when I save here, this will show now a second iteration in the dashboard. So here we have one iteration, second iteration, and this is for the same artwork. Now, if you decide that this is the iteration with the client, this is confirmed, then you click here, mark as confirmed, and basically you can still see here that there is a second iteration, but it's hidden. You don't need the information from that iteration anymore, because all you need is the iteration that was confirmed. Now, we could have done this from this page here, where you can click here to add a second frame if you want to stack frames. Here you could have selected the fillet, you could have selected multiple fillets, and again, you can change everything here. So this page here, the landing page on Virtual Framer, is a fast pricing page where you can enter all the information when you know everything and you just want to obtain your price and your visual as quickly as possible. But then you have these buttons here that give you the possibility to browse. If you are looking for something and you still don't know exactly what, this will give you access to more images and let you browse easier. Now, here for the artwork page, I am going to add 2 more artworks to show you how we can do multiple openings on Virtual Framer. So here, I will first start by removing the frame and removing the framing method. Then I go back here to the artworks page and I click here to add a new artwork. So I go in here and select, for example, this image here. And let's say this artwork is 10 by 15. And I will add another artwork. And this artwork this time is going to be this one here. And this artwork is, let's say, 15 by 20 or 20 by 15. So now I can click on this button here and I can select these two artworks, click on this button again. And now I am saying that I want to put these two artworks in one frame, basically. So I will enter here the size of the frame that I want. So I'm going to say it's in a 30 by 45. Now I confirm. Now the artworks are evenly placed in the space that I gave when I said I want to put these two artworks in one frame. And now I can select a frame. So let's say I select this frame here. And I can select a framing method, and let's do this one here. So you can see here, these are two artworks placed in one mat board. Now, if I want to change the position, the artworks differently, I can click here on this button, and here I will be able to place the artworks any way I like, and this will give me my visual. I can also change the framing method and say, for example, I want to float these two artworks. So when I click here, basically it's the same thing, but then I don't have here the bevels of the mat board because I'm floating the artworks. And here I can add more space around the artworks. So if I'm happy with this visual, I can save here. Now, I didn't rename this group of artworks, but the app automatically gave this number here. And this is the first iteration. So if I use the same group of artworks and I choose other frames or other framing methods and I save every time, I will have many iterations for this artwork. Now, I save here. And if I go to the dashboard, you can see I have another artwork here, and this is the first iteration for this artwork, and I have here the iteration visible. Now, if I want to show you now another thing that we can do with artworks. So instead of adding two different artworks, I'm going to add a jersey and something that is not an artwork. So I click here on this, I click here on this button. And here I upload the image of my jersey. Here I want to change this frame and I want to change this framing method. Now I go back here to the artwork and I upload a logo. So this is the logo that I want to upload. And I will say that this logo is a 5 by 5. So now if I click here on this button and I select these two images, and I click here again, now I indicate the size of the space that I will put these two images in. So let's say 35 by 25. And when I confirm here, I have here the space and I have these two images. Now I'm going to move these items around. So let's say this is what I want to do. And again, this is an example with a logo. It could be something that you want to print on your mat board or a sticker that you want to stick on the mat board. But imagine that this could be also a baseball bat or an object that you want to frame. So you can basically show visuals that are not just with artworks and mat boards. So I confirm here. Now I can select a frame and I can select here a framing method. So let's go with this one. And I can change here the mat board color. And now I have the visual that I'm looking for. Now I can save again. And again, this is a different artwork number and a different a first iteration for this artwork number. So when I save here, now I will see that I have 3 artworks basically in the dashboard. We have American Gothic, the first one, and then we have these 2 that we didn't rename, but then we can see here these are iterations that are saved, and we can always generate quotes or invoices. So let's say now I will confirm this one and also confirm this one. And now I will generate an invoice for these 3. So I will select these 3 together and combine them in one invoice. So I have here all the information for these 3 artworks, a group of artworks. Here I have all the numbers, and if I want to modify something, I can just change it here to any amount I want. And when I'm satisfied with the information that I have in my invoice, I can just click here, and this will generate an invoice here. So under invoice, in front of this group of artworks, if I click here, I can see I have 3 different artworks in this group. Now, with what we saved here, it's time to have a look at the back end. So when I go in here and I refresh, so here you see all the invoices that I generated in one day. So this is my revenue for the day, and every time I save an invoice, I can see here how for each invoice I can see the amount, and I can see when it was saved, and I see basically how I'm building my revenue for the day. In the same page here, I have an overview where I can see all the reports. So this is my current year report, and I can see for every month how much revenue I made. And here I have lots of reports with my top clients and my best-selling frames, and lots of different reports for frames and mat boards and glazing options, everything that I need to know basically to know what's going on in my business. Now from here, if we click on overview here, so we have the reports, and then we have here an artworks database where we can find all the artworks that we saved. And basically for an artwork, you can always click here and you will be able to see all the information that you entered for that artwork, and you can see the location of the artwork and the location history. So this is one thing that you can do when you save an artwork. You can enter every time the location changes. You can enter it in the front end in the app, or here you can enter information from the back end and save it here, and that will give you a updated location for the artwork. And same thing, if you enter more images of the artwork, especially if you want to show that there is a damage, you can enter all the images you want. And whenever you enter an image, you have a date here that you cannot modify. So if a client comes back after a few months and says there was a damage to the artwork that was made by you, you can always come back here. If you saved images, you will be able to see if that damage was indeed there before you framed, and the date here is going to show exactly when the image was uploaded, and you cannot modify this date, so this can be used as proof. These images here with the artworks are searchable, so if I enter here American Gothic, I will be able to find, so I am using the same name all the time in my presentation, so that's why it's always the same artwork, but basically any name that you give to an artwork can make this artwork searchable. Also, you can search by client number, client name, and some other details that you can enter about artworks. Now here in the documents section of the backend, you have access to all the invoices and all the quotes and receipts and work orders that you save. So everything is here. You can export all your information very easily, and you can also import your information from other software. So this is very important. If you want to save all your history, if you use another software before and you want to start using Virtual Framer, just let us know. We will let you know the procedure to get all your information. It could be client history, it could be work order, invoice history, everything that you need to move from another software to Virtual Framer, we can do it. Here we also can go to the overview again, and all the orders that we marked as confirmed are listed here. And whenever an order is finished, you can just click here as complete, okay, make it marked as complete. And as long as it's in here, the ongoing orders list, you can, Virtual Framer can help you with the purchase order. So I'm gonna click here on purchase order. These here are the vendors who are involved in these ongoing orders I have. So if I select here CMI, these are the three orders, the three jobs that we have for CMI out of those longer list of projects that we saved. And then here I can select all the projects that I want to order the frame for, confirm my selection, and then here I will see all the information that I have for these frames. I will be able to make modifications and prepare the order to my vendor. So here you can see the frame reference. If you're not sure about the frame, you can click here and you will be able to see the frame that is mentioned here. All these sizes and all this information comes from the projects that you saved. And here, when you have twice the same frame, and if you're ordering these frames in length, the app is telling you basically how many sticks you need to buy. If we have the stick length here, you can modify the stick length if you think this information here is not correct. And what the app shows you here is the number of sticks that you need to order to do this order here, all right? So for this frame here, you need 2 sticks. For this one here, you need 2 sticks, but because it's the same frame, you can see this line here is not is not a full line like this. And you have this button here that says combine. So if I combine these 2 orders, now I still have all the information here, but your order here now just says 3 sticks. So basically Virtual Framer can help you order the correct number of sticks for what you need to do. And if you want to see how we got this number here, you click here on show cutting, and then here you have all the information about these 2 orders and how they combine into 3 sticks. So you can see which orders we're talking about, and you can see how these cuttings can be placed on these sticks in order for you to save as much as possible. First, by not ordering more sticks than what you need, and 2, in order to save as much length as possible. Now, this is something that you can modify. If you decide, I still want to order 4 sticks, you can click here and add another stick. And then here, with your finger, you can just take a piece here and put it, for example, here. And you can take this here and put it here also. This could be because you know that you will get another order, and this order with this will be perfect for the next order. So here you can see how much waste you still have, okay, all the scraps. And if this is how you decide to do it, then you can just order 4 sticks. This drawing here can be downloaded and printed. And if you're happy with this, then now you see your order is 4 sticks, and you can order 4 sticks from your supplier. Now here you can still add more orders from scratch. So here, if you type in a number, it could be a number that comes from all the frames that we have for this supplier. So this is basically when you enter orders that you didn't use Virtual Framer to generate, but you still want to order these frames from your supplier. So if you know the frame and it's in the database, basically you can click on it and see the information, and then you can say how many sticks you want to order. You can enter the size. You can just basically prepare your order. This also can be used if you want to order something which is not necessarily frames. You can order here a box of glass or just anything that this supplier sells. And when your order here is all confirmed, then you click here on confirm, and that generates a new document that you can send to your supplier. Now here, if we were to generate a purchase order for a handmade frame, so this here is a handmade frame. We have here one project with a handmade frame. I can confirm the selection here. And because this is a handmade frame, I can add modifications to my order. So here I can say how I want to modify the width, how I want to modify the height, how I want to change the leaves or the finish. I can enter notes here, and I can even add attachments to my order if I need to make a new drawing or a new sketch or enter any information or pictures or anything to explain to my vendor what I want. So this can be a very important tool to help you with your orders. You can wait a few days and combine all the orders, and Virtual Framer will help you save time when you do this. Now, there are more things that we can say about Virtual Framer. One very important aspect of Virtual Framer is that you can embed Virtual Framer in your website. So we will show you here how this is done by some of your colleagues who are framers. So for example, I go here on this framer's website. So this is a framer who embedded Virtual Framer in their website. So here they have a custom framing section to their website. You click on this, and when you scroll down, you will see that you open Virtual Framer without leaving the website. So there is no mention here of Virtual Framer or anything. This is just Virtual Framer that just opens up. It's basically embedded in the website. So this is a tutorial that helps users know how to use Virtual Framer. You can watch the tutorial or you can skip it. And then here, any user, so again, we're in the website here. So this could be your website and you have Virtual Framer embedded in your website. So any user can upload any image they want on the website. And here, they can enter the size. And when they click here on this button, they will be able to see all the frames that you want them to see. So you can have a different selection of frames here from the one that you have on your account. You can make just a simpler selection with just a few vendors if you like. And there are two important things to see here. So if I select this frame here, first of all, in this case, the framer didn't want to give access to prices. So that's an option. You can decide not to show prices, or you can also decide to show prices. This is up to you. And also here, these numbers that we see are not the real numbers. This is a random number that is here to make it very hard for someone to shop around. Basically, they can't just go on your website and then go see another framer and say, I want this frame, because this number here will mean nothing at all to any framer apart from you. This is a specific number just to your account. If you click here to open the presentation page, there is no mention here of the real number for this frame, and there's no mention of who the vendor is. So we're just making it as hard as possible to basically let your users on your website shop around. Now, with this, the user can continue here to this framing method part. And here, you can also limit the number of framing method options. Just keep it very simple. And when the user selects a framing method, they will be able here to modify as they want. Again, there's a tutorial that shows them how to do this. And for some users, this feels very natural. It's maybe hard for certain people, but not for everybody. And then when they have here their visual and they're happy with the visual, they can send you a request to have a quote. Here, they enter all their information. They verify their email before they can send it to you. This is to avoid you receiving emails from people who are not serious. And when they send the request, you receive an email telling you that a user sent you a quote request. And when you click here, when you go back to Virtual Framer and you go here to the menu, you can see here how many requests you have received. And when you click here on Client's Request, you will see the whole list of requests that you have received. And when you click here on a request, you can open it, and you will have all the information about who sent you the request and when it was sent. And then you can open the project. And when you open the project, you can see the image of the artwork that was uploaded by the user, and you can see all the information and all the unscrambled information. So when you click here, you have the real number, you have all the information, you even have your price ready, and you can get back to the client very easily. So this is a very important tool, and what is really important to remember about this is it is so easy to embed Virtual Framer in your website. So when you open an account with Virtual Framer, it takes you just a few minutes to start using Virtual Framer for visualization purposes. So it takes a little bit more time to enter all the information about pricing to make sure that you get all your pricing correct. That takes a little bit more time. But if we're talking about just visualization, it's very, very easy. It's just a few clicks of a few buttons. And with these clicks and a few buttons, you can already start to embed Virtual Framer, again, because you don't need to show prices on Virtual Framer on your websites when you embed Virtual Framer. So you can embed Virtual Framer literally after 10 minutes from opening your account on Virtual Framer, and your users will be able to do this very easily. To embed Virtual Framer on your website, all you have to do is go here to Web Pages in the backend, and then here basically you create the link that you need to embed, and then here you select the options, whether you want to show prices or not, whether you want to show random references or not, and here you can select basically the frames that you want to show on your website, the framing methods that you want to show, and the mat boards that you want to show. So it makes it very, very easy to embed Virtual Framer. Once you have this link here, all you have to do is enter that link here in this line of code and embed that line of code in the code of your website. Now, there's another cool option here when it comes to generating links that you can embed in your website. You can also generate a link that is dedicated to a specific artwork. So here, for example, for this artwork here, what I did is I uploaded the image of one artwork, and I entered here different choices, so whether I want to show prices or not, and I selected the framing method, and I selected the frame, and I selected the framing, a default mat board, and I also selected a list of frames. So on Virtual Framer, you can create lists of frames, so it can be your favorite frames, it can be favorite frames according to some types of artworks or some clients. So I selected basically here this list of frames, and I entered here the size. And when I clicked, when I confirmed this basically creates a link. So if I copy this link and I enter this link here, you will see what that means. So again, this is a link that you can send to someone by email. So for example, if a client sends you an email with the image of an artwork and says, do you have, can you give me some options for this artwork? Very easy for you to do what we just did here, and then send them that link. They click on the link, and when they open, basically they have here the artwork that they sent with your favorite frame and favorite framing method. And then here you have all the options in that list of frames that you sent them. And basically all they have to do is change the frame and then decide and tell you which one they like. So that's one way of using this. You can send this by email to any client if you have a request. And you can also embed this in a website if you sell art on your website. So if you have an image, a page dedicated to one artwork, you can embed this link in that page, and you can have many pages and many artworks which all have their own dedicated link that you can embed in your website, so that people can easily see all the different artworks that you're selling with a number of options for framing. So these are very useful options, and all the framers who have been embedding Virtual Framer in their website are saying that they're getting requests either by people actually sending requests or go into their shop and mentioning that they went on the website and played with the visualizer before they came to the shop. So this is very important, and again, so easy to embed in your websites. Basically, you sign up, and within 15 minutes, not even 15 minutes, you can embed Virtual Framer in your website. Now, last thing I can mention here is pricing on Virtual Framer is very easy. If you click here, you have different sections here where you can enter all the information for your vendors, the vendors that you want to select, and the frames that you want to select, and the markups that you want to enter. And with this part here, you get help from us. So we can help you with this setup. But also you have, once you become a subscriber, we have here on our website, when you log in here, you have access to tutorials. And in these tutorials, you can see a lot of videos about each aspect of the pricing and each aspect of using Virtual Framer. So everything is in here, plus all the help that you can get from us directly. Basically, on Virtual Framer, you have a link here on our website, and also in the emails that we exchange. You have a link to book a Zoom presentation anytime you want. So contact us to either get help if you're already a client, or contact us if you are not a client and you want more information. So very easy to talk to one of us any time almost. Now, Virtual Framer is very useful for a number of reasons. So first of all, it's a portable workshop. You can go with your iPad pretty much anywhere, and you have all your samples, and actually more samples on Virtual Framer than on your wall, where we are listing more than 70,000 frames on Virtual Framer. So this is more than what any framer can have. This is also a great tool to discuss remotely with some of your clients. You can do a Zoom call. You can give access to your clients. Some clients, you can give them access directly to your Virtual Framer account. That means they can use their computer or iPad and connect to your account on Virtual Framer and do their own visualization. This can be very, very useful if someone is, for example, a gallery and they have art that they receive on consignment, and they like to frame it with nice frames, but they can't because they will return the artwork soon after the exhibition is finished if it's not sold. So in this case, basically, a gallery like this could use Virtual Framer to virtually frame an artwork in a number of ways at different price levels. And when they show the art to a potential buyer, they can show all the options that they selected for framing, and this can help them sell the art. And in some cases, when they sell the art, this can lead to more expensive frames that you get ordered. You get orders for more expensive frames because because the buyer of the artwork had the chance to see that artwork with a different frame, beautifully with a powerful visualizer that gave them an idea of how this could look with a different frame. So this virtual framer is a tool that is not just a POS that can help you do everything that a regular POS can do. This is actually a tool that can help you sell more frames or sell more expensive frames, and it can also help you save a lot of time, either because when you communicate with your clients, or when you communicate with your vendors, or in your team when a team of people are cooperating on certain projects. I hope this presentation was useful. I hope you liked it. And if you have any questions, please get back to us. Thank you.